This week on Edmunds Live, the new BMW 4 Series, commercials from the Super Bowl, as well as a bunch of new long-term cars in the Edmunds fleet. I'm joined by Mike McGrath, Jessica Caldwell, Mark Takahashi, and Aaron Riches. So let's start off with that BMW 4 Series. We recently have tested the 428 and the 435i. And Mark, you drove the 428.
I did.
What'd you think about it?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I mean, it's still comfortable. It's still sporty. Actually got pretty decent gas mileage. A little expensive, but yeah, I mean, in that segment, I think it's probably the best.
And the interesting thing is, with the 8-speed automatic, we got a better 0 to 60 time with the 428 than we did with the 6-speed manual 435.
And
Go figure.
That 8-speed automatic combined with the 2.8 motors in all of their cars, it's great. It's seamless acceleration. You put your foot down and it just draws a straight line up to the quarter mile. That manual transmission, it's actually geared a little bit tall, so when you shift it, it kind of dips and bogs. But again, that 35 motor, that 3-liter straight six, it's a great motor too. It's hard to go
It doesn't
wrong.
feel snappy anymore, though.
No, it doesn't.
At least in the 4
And it's
Series.
very quiet too. Like they were always very refined, but it's almost too quiet. Like you want to hear the engine in a BMW, I think.
First world problems.
Yes, yes.
Despite the improved performance from that 8-speed automatic, that manual on that 435 is really excellent. BMW still knows what they're doing, and very easy to drive, but also very rewarding, which is what you're looking for with a manual these days.
It's a big car though, and which I mean, it's a really nice big car. It's very nice on the highway, but if you're coming out of like a 3 Series Coupe, I could see where this car could feel kind of big. I mean, it's not a bite-sized BMW anymore.
Yeah, this is actually where it gets murky. The 4 Series is fine. You get someone in, they want to trade in their 3 Series Coupe. You go, oh, it's called the 4 Series now. Buy it, have a good day. It's when people come in and see that there's a 4 Series that's the coupe, but then there's a sedan version of the coupe of the sedan, but it's a hatchback. The 435 Gran Coupe or the 4 Series Gran Coupe looks great. That hatchback offers a ton of space. If you're into any sort of sport or hobby that has stuff, flip it open, chuck all your stuff in there, put a dog in there, call it good.
Yeah, something to look forward to. Another big story this week was all the car ads that ran during the Super Bowl. Now, Jessica, we measure the consideration that people have for those new cars. What did we find?
Yeah, true. We saw a lot of traffic during the Super Bowl. After the Super Bowl, people want to do their research because there's so many car ads. I mean, I think the big winner was the Kia K900 with Morpheus. So people were apparently out there taking the red pill, but that shot up the traffic. I mean, the traffic lift was massive. I mean, granted, it wasn't huge to begin with, but it was the top considered vehicle on our entire site on Monday and on Sunday. So that's a pretty big deal for such a, a relatively small nameplate car, not, a Honda Accord. Also, the Maserati Ghibli did really well. I think people were interested and wanted to know what that was. So it seems to me that some of the nameplates and some of the cars that we don't recognize do well on these big events because people go and they want to do research to find out more. I mean, I don't think we see as big a lift on something like a Silverado 1500 because a lot of people, they know what it is. They may check out the prices, but they're not necessarily starting from scratch.
Now, is it the fact that, just an ad was particularly memorable, or the fact that perhaps the car actually resonated? Like, how much of a balance is there?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I think the fact that it had Morpheus in it, I think that was particularly memorable for a lot of people. The Matrix was actually 15 years ago, so we're still talking about them, which is kind of crazy. But I think if it's done well, and I think if it draws people's interest, it seems to be those that do the best in terms of traffic. At least people wanting to know more. They want to know the details, not just, oh, that was a great ad.
There was a lot of talk on social media about it. So let's go to Claire with our social media minute. Claire, what do you have for us?
So we were live tweeting during the Super Bowl, and here are some of the responses we got when we asked what was the best commercial of the night. Jason Strum said, Bob Dylan and Chrysler for the win. Tequila said, Jaguar hands down, although Maserati was swell too. And on Google+, Sean Murphy said, I think Maserati scored a touchdown with a 2-point conversion on their ad. Kia comes in Bronco style in second.
I liked the Kia ad. I didn't actually realize that Lawrence Fishburne was playing Morpheus because I never saw The Matrix, but I really like Lawrence. I know, I've seen parts of the other ones, but I really like Lawrence.
Go home now.
She was
I know.
Amish at that time or something.
I was in college. I was busy.
What else do you have for us?
Another ad that got a lot of traction was Hyundai's spot for the Genesis featuring emergency braking assistance. Do you expect this to become more common in new cars?
Mike?
It's a feature we're already seeing in a lot of cars, and it just took a really clever angle by Hyundai that teen boys like to look at girls to highlight one of the practical aspects of it that really could happen to anyone.
Yeah, a lot of cars with, well, adaptive. If it has adaptive cruise control, it probably has that, but increased cars, increased availability from Subaru, Volvo, for instance. So definitely a feature you're going to see in the future. Claire?
So that's all I have for this week, but we'd love to hear from you guys. So make sure you follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks.
All right, let's go to our lightning round. And our lightning round this week involves our long-term fleet. Since the last time we joined you, we've had a lot of cars that have joined it. So, Erin, what's your new favorite long-term car?
I'm partial to the Mazda 3, surprisingly. Finally another Mazda, and it's a hatchback and not a crossover. Great.
Mark?
I actually like the Mazda 3 a lot too, but I really like the Corvette. That gets me going.
Now, Mike?
This one's obvious. You and I have been shopping for it forever. It's that 2005 CL65. We've wanted this in the long-term fleet forever. We finally got it. It's only broken down once, and I'm counting that as a win.
Generally, I think I go more mainstream. I mean, I've seen the Mercedes CLA250 downstairs. I think that's good. I think a lot of people are interested in that. They want to know more, and that is the gateway to luxury here in Los Angeles. That's very important.
Well, that's all we have for Edmunds Live this week. Thanks, guys.